Team Rocket. I don't think a list like this is possible without putting Jesse, James, and Meowth on here. Again, I love these three, such bumbling fools, and even though they're the antagonists, they're pretty lovable in their own way too. Again, Team Rocket are just your classic incompetent baddies who are always thwarted in the most comical of ways. They follow in the footsteps of many great cartoon fools before them, Sylvester the Cat, Elmer Fudd, they're right there with them. And Pikachu is to Team Rocket like what Tweety Bird is to Sylvester the Cat. They try to catch him and they always fail. And we grew up laughing at their expense. In a world full of truly evil people, it's cartoon villains like this that I wish actually existed. Crablante from One Punch Man takes the next spot on the list. I think Crablante is what made me truly interested in this series. I honestly mean that. The concept of the series is great on its own, but when I saw this crab man, I was like, okay, I get this show. Crablante became this crab monster after having eaten too much crab. Things like this can just happen in the world of One Punch, which is part of what makes it so fun. I love that he's not, a full-on crab monster either. The lower half of his body still retains a human appearance, wearing a pair of tidy whities no less. And of course, he has nipples drawn on his chest with permanent marker, thanks to the ball-chinned kid he wants revenge on. Yeah, Crablante is a truly hilarious villain, if you could even, call him that. He just didn't stand a chance. Saitama beat him before even having trained to become the bald-headed hero we know and love today. Next up, we got the Fridge Monster from Cowboy Bebop. This villain, if you can even really call it a villain, felt like a parody of a 1950s sci-fi monster movie, the thing that came from the fridge, like that sort of thing. When the Bebop crew is under attack by a mysterious creature that seems to poison members of the crew, Spike begins to hunt it down, only to discover it's a rare lobster that Spike left in the fridge for too long. Now, I put this on a dumb villains list only because it's a creature coming from a fridge and it's taken out by Ed eating it at the end, but this is a really fun episode. It's like Alien, except with a mutated space lobster, right down to Spike opening the ship's airlock and blasting the fungus-filled fridge out into space. And I may be, thinking too deeply about it, but I think it's got a deeper meaning to it as well. A tale about keeping your past mistakes locked and hidden away, allowing them to fester rather than facing them head on. And next up we have Emperor Pilaf, who's most prominently featured in Dragon Ball but has made appearances in GT and Super as well. Now, I'd say Pilaf is completely incompetent, but he was a major threat at the start of Dragon Ball, and he did manage to gather the Dragon Balls on more than one occasion. He just managed to also make the worst wishes, totally dropping the ball every time. Dropping the Dragon Ball every time. Alright, accidentally wishing for Goku to become a kid in GT. Yeah, really screwed the pooch on that one, buddy. Him and his crew are just, they're like a classic bunch of bumbling idiots. I really enjoy them. Next up is Caesar Baldy Bald IV from Bobo Bo 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 Bo. So Bobo Bo 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 is like the king of dumb. It's the whole point in the series, and it's fantastic. So what villain do you get in a series about a hero who battles using a martial art called Fist of the Nose Hair, where he literally uses his nose hairs to fight? Well, you get Caesar Baldy Bald IV, the leader of the Chrome Dome Empire, who seeks to rid the world of their hair, sending out his soldiers and hair hunters to shave everyone they see. To be fair, this organization really did exist, forcibly shaving mass amounts of innocent people's hair off. I'd be pretty angry. And coming in its second place on the list is the Jigglebutt Gang from Fairy Tail. These masters of thievery all have one thing in common: big butts. These butt bandits opened season 5 with a bang and gave our heroes quite the challenge when they descended upon the gold-carrying train that Natsu, Lucy, and Wendy were protecting. This gang of thieves had the terrifying ability to release powerful gas attacks from their rear ends and even form themselves into a triangular formation to release an even more massive-sized gas explosion. Now, some would look at this, trio of butt fiends and ask, was this needed? And my response to that question would be yes, the Jigglebutt Gang is the greatest group of villains in anime history. And coming in at number 1 is the Tomato Devil from Chainsaw Man. This devil appears in the very first chapter/episode of the series, and Denji takes it out without so much as a scratch, and he hadn't even become the Chainsaw Man yet. I love this thing. I want to know more about it. Now, we know that devils are brought about through people's collective fears, so my question is, who craps a brick after looking at a tomato? Who would jump out of a window to escape the terrifying clutches of this incredibly boring vegetable? Well, someone in the Chainsaw Man universe was scared of them because this thing existed. Now, it was weak, which makes sense as there just aren't enough people afraid of tomatoes to really bolster much strength in it, but if devils were brought about by things people just don't like, then this would be a totally different story. This devil would be incredibly OP. I hate tomatoes. Whenever someone asks if I want tomato on my burger, this is the translation of that question in my head. Hey, do you want to ruin this nice, perfectly barbecued burger with crisp lettuce and sweet barbecue sauce with a cold, flavorless, wet piece of like nothingness? Just adds nothing to the burger experience, or any experience with food. Tomatoes suck. I like sun-dried though. Yeah, come to think of it, I get why the tomato devil is a thing, actually.